Hello and welcome to God's House of Prayer / Healing. Today I want to talk about Job. I'm gonna read Job chapter 37, and it states verses 1. At this also my heart trembleth and is moved out of his place. Hear attentively the noise of his voice and the sound that goes out of his mouth. He directed it under the whole heaven, and his lightning unto the ends of the earth. After it a voice roareth, he thundereth with the voice of his excellency, and he will not stay them when his voice is heard. God thundereth marvelously with his voice. Great things doth he, which we cannot comprehend. God does great things, and we're not always able to comprehend the things that he's doing, but he does great things. And it says in 6, for he said to the snow, be thou on the earth, likewise to the small rain, and to the great rain of his strength. He sealeth up the hand of every man, that all men may know his work. He said he sealeth up the hand of every man, that all men may know his work. Then the beasts go into dens and remain in their places. Out of the south cometh the whirlwind, and cold out of the north. By the breath of God, frost is given, and the breath of the waters is straight. Also by watering he weareth the thick cloud. He scattereth his bright cloud, and it is turned round about by his counsels, that they may do whatever he commandeth them upon the face of the world in the earth. He causes it to come rather for corruption, or for his land, or for mercy. He causes things to happen. Sometimes it's for a correction, or sometimes it's just for the land itself, or sometimes it's for mercy. Hearken unto this, O Jacob. Stand still and consider the wondrous works of God. Sometimes you have to just stand still and consider the wondrous works of God. A lot of times we move, especially today in this day and age, we just move so fast. We just got so much to do. We're running here, we're running there, that we don't just stand still. There's another scripture that says, stand still and see the salvation of the Lord come with power. Sometimes we just don't stand still. Sometimes we just so busy that we don't stand still, and we can't see God's works. When we're busy, we can't see it. When we're too busy, there's a lot of things we find ourselves missing. Sometimes we don't recognize people have changed until we stand still. Sometimes we don't realize God have already moved in this area that we have been praying about and seeking God about, until we stand still and we start to see or start to think about all the things he has done. Sometimes you got to stand still and see his marvelous work. Sometimes you got to think about where he brought you out of, the things that he has brought you through. Sometimes you got to think about the things that you prayed for, the answer prayers. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you can just look about the land and see how beautiful the trees are, and the flowers are, and the smell of them, and just the creation that he's made, the people and the beauty in the people, and just the butterflies, just something simple as a butterfly, how beautiful the colors are, the processing even of a butterfly, and how that butterfly began as a caterpillar and was crawling on its belly and went from crawling to flying. Oh, what a process. And sometimes that's where we're at. If we stop and we look at his marvelous works, and we start thinking about what he's done in us, how at one point we was crawling, at one point we was in a desert place, at one point we was, trying to get from A to B, trying to figure out a way to get from A to B. Sometimes, I can recall one point in time me walking, okay? I didn't have no car. I was a teenager. I was walking around. I didn't have no license yet. I didn't even think about no license until I turned of a certain age, past 16, okay? I was past 16, past 18. And finally, I got my license because I found it necessary. But before then, I was fine walking. And I was walking just like that butterfly. If I call myself, crawling. Sometimes you have to crawl out of certain situations. You might have to crawl out of debt. You might have to crawl out of a relationship. You might have to crawl out of poverty. You might have to crawl. Sometimes people say you got to crawl before you walk. And I found myself at times crawling, my job where I started at, it's so weird how, it's so weird. I remember my mom telling me, Angie, you used to be able to take me here and there with no problem. You used to be able to pay for me we would go out to eat once a week when you didn't hardly make no money. Now you got all this money. You making a certain amount of money, now you can't take me out to eat like that because how they say more money, more problems. What happens? You start buying stuff. You start having to pay bills. You start wanting to live a better life. So your rent goes up, okay? Your car payment is higher because you chose to live at another status. You chose to climb up from where you were. You were in a small apartment and you went from a small apartment. Maybe you was in the hood. Maybe you was, me myself, I was in the projects. I started off in a small apartment. And then before you knew it, because I knew I wasn't going to stay there. I had to evolve. I had plans. I had goals. I had a vision. And, without a vision, people perish. That's what the Word of God says. So, I had a vision, y'all. I had a vision. And I saw myself outside of that apartment. And I told my neighbor, I'm moving. She said, when you moving? I said, I don't know, but I know I'm moving. I'm getting up out of here. I'm not staying here very long. This was just the beginning. I was very inspired. When you're young, you inspire. You got things that you want to do. You got goals that you want to accomplish. You got moves that you want to make, And so I was determined. I wasn't staying there. Yeah, this was my beginning, but this wasn't going to be my end. You know what I mean? And sometimes you got to get out of that poverty mindset. You got to look and see God's wondrous works. You got to look and see yourself climbing out. You got to look and be like that butterfly. Although you may be crawling now, you got to see past the crawling phase. You may have to go into that cocoon until you can bloom, okay? Sometimes you got to go into that cocoon so that you can bloom. So sometimes you might have to find yourself by yourself so that you can get to where you got to go. Sometimes you may... It's part of being, it's part of evolving. You gotta go past this certain type of mindset. You gotta elevate past where you've been, so you can get to where you're going. That's what you gotta do. You gotta see yourself out of where you are and see yourself past what you've been doing, and see yourself being great. See yourself doing the works of the Lord, whatever God's will is for your life. You got to see yourself doing whatever it is that you put your hands to do. Whatever vision God gave you. You got to see yourself doing it, and not only see yourself, but start applying yourself, trying to figure out how does this work? How do I go from here to there? How am I going to get there? You can't, really like sit there and just wallow. You can't just do nothing and expect for it to come to you, although sometimes things do come to people. But it don't always happen like that. So sometimes you really just got to apply yourself. You got to start somewhere. And you got to see yourself past where you are so you can get to where you're going. And some people, they're not motivated like that. And you just, you gotta see yourself flying. This one person, they told me a while ago, you over there hanging out with the chickens when you supposed to be flying with the eagles. And I got what she was saying, but I really didn't really get what she was saying. You know how you can get something but not get it, like in this fullness. And you start thinking about chickens. Chickens, they cluck and they don't even fly. Like they might, But here it is. An eagle flies, and it goes higher than anything. It goes up so high, and they are such like peculiar, a creature. What I'm saying? They're so peculiar in what they do and how they do it. They're just different. They're not like any other bird. What I'm saying? You can't compare an eagle to a bluebird. What I'm saying? Because they surpass all of these birds, okay? But my point is that you got to see yourself soaring. You got to see yourself going past a certain mindset. You gotta get past a lot of things. You gotta go past a whole lot of stuff in order for you to be like that butterfly and go through that evolving process and go from crawling to the cocoon to being exactly who you are, the final product, what I'm saying, like with all these colors and beautiful. And once you bloom, watch out, because people recognize really who you are once you get to that place. But sometimes you gotta crawl before you walk. And some people want to go past the crawling phase. Some people got it so easy. Things have been handed to them all their lives. When they got to go out and get it themselves, they don't know how. And so you got to go past getting things handed to you. Yeah, it's cool. If people want to bless you, that's fine. But at the same time, you got to figure some things out for yourself. You can't expect people to take care of you all your life. You can't expect people to just hand things to you forever. What if something happens and they're gone? Oh, well, I'll inherit. Well, even with your inheritance, because you've been so used to things coming to you so easily, a lot of people blow it. They blow their whole inheritance. And then they have to learn how to crawl. And some people can't make it past there. You know why? Because they don't know what to do with themselves. They don't know how to handle things not being handed to them. So either they find themselves in a whole lot of debt or in a whole lot of trouble. Or they find themselves giving up. And so I'm saying, go past all that. Learn how, get some goals for yourself. see some. I ask God to give you vision. See things, like look at the gifts that God has given you. A lot of us, we have so many gifts, and some of us have so many gifts we don't know we got until it's activated, till somebody says something or God does something at that time, or where He gives the increase, and all of a sudden you recognize, oh man, I'm gifted in this area. Oh wow, I didn't even know I had this. But the point is that don't, stop. First of all, learn to stand still. Learn to just soak in God's marvelous works. Learn to, even when it comes down to battle, even when it comes down to things that goes on in your mind, learn. Sometimes you just got to be still so you can see the salvation of the Lord come with power. Sometimes you just got to stand still. And once you get to that still place and God begins to evolve your mind, and you begin to start seeing yourself beyond where you are, start to elevate. Watch God just give the increase. Watch vision come. Watch you seeing yourself what you are supposed to be doing. Because some people don't know what they're supposed to be doing. Some people don't even know they got a calling. Some people don't even know, don't even have hope, for themselves. They don't, they just here. They're just here. And so you got to see yourself past just being here. You got to see yourself greater than where you are. You got to see yourself doing bigger things. You can't have that poverty mindset. You can't have that box mindset where you put God in a box and you say, "Oh, well, he ain't concerned about these things. These things of the world." Well, He created these things. You know what? He gave men wisdom to create them. Okay. So that house, that car, those things that you see that are materialistic, guess what? They can be given to you. You know why? Because God is His marvelous works. They all belong to Him. He owns everything. There's nothing that He can't give you. And you just got to want it for yourself. You got to change your mindset. You got to have that, you got to learn how to, go get it. Get that go get it mindset. I'm going to go get it, not steal. I'm not telling you to just go and rip it off, folks. I'm saying go get it as far as that ambition, to that drive, something to, boost you. And a lot of times if you look at your situation where you are right now, and the things that you want to accomplish, that'll boost you by itself. You know what I'm saying? Like, I see myself bigger than this. I see myself greater than this. I know this ain't me. This ain't the end for me. This ain't where God want me to be. I'm over here. I'm in the like I said, I start off in the projects. Is where my first apartment was at. I was a teenage mom. I had a daughter, in high school, and I saw myself going beyond that, those apartments, and along the way, as I began to do more and I started off, at McDonald's, and then I went to Wendy's, then I started holding down 2 jobs. And then I was dental assistant for, I was on that program and I was still in high school. Y'all, I didn't let that stop me. I was determined I'm going to graduate. Oh yeah, I have a child, but yeah, I'm graduating. I told my grandmother, I'm graduating still. She thought, oh, Angie, now that you done messed up now you ain't going to be able to graduate. I said, why? Who? Me? Nah, girl, my mama, oh yeah, I'm graduating. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to do what I got to do, but I'm going to get my diploma. And I did that, and I thank God for the people that helped me to do that. That was there along the way to help encourage me and to watch my child while I went to school. Meanwhile, I advanced in jobs going from fast food to working for the dentist and working for the hospital and taking care of the mentally ill to working factory work, and I landed a really decent factory, and so, but that's not the end for me. That's not the end for me. I'm still trying to climb higher, and that's where you gotta be. You can't see that, oh, well, I'm here. Sometimes you're there and it's like, well, why am I here? What has God got you there for? And maybe it's to be a witness. Maybe people see your life and it'll change their life. Maybe God establishes relationships with people so that he can show, what he did for you, he can do for them. You know what I'm saying? It ain't just for you to elevate, but it's for other people that's watching you. And so there was people that was with me in the projects that was telling me they didn't see themselves going out the project. I was like, well, I'm going out of here. I'm not staying here all my life. And sure enough, I moved. And then later on, I found out so did they. And so that had to been an inspiration. That little black girl, she could do it. She can actually move. Then obviously I can too. She can do it. I can do it. And before you knew it, they did it. And they learned, they taught, they recognized that they can do better for themselves. And sometimes, you don't realize what you can do until you get out here and do it. Sometimes you don't realize what your potential is until you're out here applying yourself, okay? And so it's a learning process, y'all. It's a learning process, and learning to stand still is also a process. Sometimes you gotta stand still and take a deep breath and recognize where you are. You know what I mean? And just think about, is this where you see yourself being forever till the end? Or do you see yourself doing greater works? Do you see yourself elevating? I mean, God got so many marvelous works. There's so many things that he's done. There's so many things he may have done that I know he's done in your life. There's so many things that he's created. And some people, that's what they want to do. They want to go out and they really want to travel the world and see all the things that he's created. And it can happen. You can do that, but you need God to give you that vision. And sometimes you got to be still so that you can see it. Sometimes you got to stand still so you can see the vision. It's like Jeremiah says, write the vision, make it plain. So once God gives you that vision, you got to write it down so that you can help somebody else. It ain't just for you, it's for other people too. Remember that. It ain't just for you, it's for other people too, because people be watching you. You may not realize it, may not know it, I mean, you could be a person on the streets and somebody watching you. Somebody's watching you. Somebody's seeing how you act. Maybe you are, even though you're there, you're so kind, you're so loving anyway, even though you're in this place. But, God, He's able to elevate. So you can't see yourself staying there. You got to get up. Get up and do the works of the Lord. God is faithful. He's faithful. He can help you. He'll help you accomplish those things that you want to accomplish. But you got to acknowledge Him. And sometimes we get so busy we don't even acknowledge. We don't even acknowledge Him. We don't even acknowledge the works that He's done already in our lives. Some of us aren't even grateful for the things that He's already done. Some of us aren't grateful already for the people that He's placed into our lives. Some of us aren't grateful, I mean, you got to be grateful for what He's already done, y'all. You really do. You have to consider the things that He's done already, because He's done a lot. And until you stand still and think back, there's a song, it says, as I look back over my life and think things over. You have to sit back and think things over. Look back over your life and see where God's hand was there. Maybe it was protection. Maybe you was going to go a certain route, and that day, had you did that, maybe you could have got into an accident. Maybe you could have lost your life. Maybe somebody that went that route that day ended up, something happened to them that wasn't good. You know what I'm saying? So, just looking at His hand over your life, I know so many attempts that have been made over my life, and I'm so grateful because He kept me. He had a plan for me, and so many people are recognizing that. I believe that, man, I'm still here. God has to have a plan. It's a plan for me because I'm still here. All these people have left and still leaving, y'all. So you have to be grateful. You have to be grateful. I understand, like, some of us is like looking at, we got, possibly parents that's gone. We got grandparents that have gone. We got aunties and uncles. Some have siblings, but at the same time, you got to recognize, thank God you're still here. You still have a chance. You still have a chance to make it. You still have a chance to do some things before you leave this world. Don't take it for granted, y'all. Don't take it for granted. Don't take this time for granted. Learn to be still. Learn to, gather your trust up in the Lord and your faith, and just see His salvation. Just seek His will for your life, and watch Him bring you out of some things. The more you just learn to be submissive to Him. Sometimes you may have your days, but it's okay. Just keep going. You may have some times where you might, want to give up, but keep your head up. Know that He cares for you. Yeah, you might be down right now, but know that this too is going to pass. Just keep your eyes on the prize. Allow Him to bring you out of that place. Look at the things that some of us, when we start thinking about our parents, our grandparents, our siblings, or whoever it is that's been close to you that have gone on to be with the Lord. When you think about that, you get real sad. But if you think things over, you think about the good times, think about the life that they brought, the type of life that they lived, the way that they treated you, the way that, whatever it is that you've seen God do in their lives, you can't help but to be grateful that that person was in your life, that person inspired you to be a better version of yourself. You have to think about those things, and that should motivate you to want to do more, or to want to go higher, or to want to be a better person, or, it should help you want to do something with yourself. Because there's a lot of people, y'all, that have lost hope. And today I just want to encourage you, to stand still for a moment. Think things over. Look at his marvelous work. Look at the things that he's done in your life. Look at the things that he's created for you. For you. The trees, for you. The flowers, for you. The grass. Just the hills, the mountains, the beauty, the waters, for you to enjoy, for you to see, for you to smell, for you to taste, to taste and see that the Lord is good and his mercies endure forever. Oh my goodness. Just think about those things. Think about how far you've come already. Think about that. And if you don't feel like you've come too far, you're still here. Thank God. You still here. And you still have a chance to go further, even from where you are right now. So I hope this encourages somebody. Just stay prayerful and mindful of these things, and I just pray that God will be with you, until the next time we meet again. Blessings.